Cedric, welcome to Senate Finance.
Thank you for recognizing me. Good evening, my name is Cedric Ye. I'm a high school student who lives in the city of Providence, and I'm represented by Sam Zerio of Senate District 3. I walk to get around the state. I walk, cycle, and use public transportation as my primary methods because I am under the age of 16 and I cannot legally drive. As many other people have mentioned today, here, we need to. I'm sorry. So, as many people have mentioned here today, the 2030 Act on Climate states that we must reduce our emissions by 45% by 2030. This mandate is legally enforceable, and if the state of Rhode Island does not meet this mandate, it can and will result in a lawsuit. In addition, we're facing a severe public safety crisis. Pedestrian fatalities between 2019 and 2021 have increased by 37% in Rhode Island. And as mentioned 2 weeks ago, our neighbor Zachary Richardson was hit and killed by a driver on North Main Street, and Superior Court Judge Richard Litch was critically injured by a driver on Smith Street. Both streets are owned, maintained, and controlled by RIDOT. And tonight, Director Peter Alviti has expressed change for the future to address these. This is promising, but his record suggests that he is unlikely to follow through. In 2019, Peter Alviti attempted to rob $37 million out of the Transportation Alternative Program, which was specifically designed for alternative mobility, but was trying to be used for car infrastructure. As mentioned, in 2020, Alviti attempted to break up Kennedy Plaza for the benefit of rich property owners. In the Transit Master Plan and the Bicycle Mobility Plan have had no action since they were approved in 2020 by the state legislature. In 2021, Alviti tried to extort the city of Providence to rip out the newly finished South Water Street urban trail, despite traffic studies that showed it would have little impact on traffic flow, and have since been shown to decrease crashes and injuries, particularly for vulnerable road users. That same year, Alviti borrowed $200 million in Garvey bonds to expand Interstate 95 and forced $748 million of car-centric infrastructure into the State Transportation Improvement Program through a minor amendment which excluded the public from giving feedback on it. RIDOT has also lied to the public about the greenhouse gas impacts on the road infrastructure projects, and later admitted that they actually had no methodology for actually measuring them, which meant it was impossible for Peter Alviti to actually ensure he was following the Act on Climate. And back in 2020, Mr. Alviti and RIDOT knew about the dumping of contaminated soil in the dense residential working-class Olneyville neighborhood as part of the 610 reconstruction project, and they let it happen under their watch. Then he intentionally lied and misled the public in statements and interviews in an attempt to cover up the illegal activity. Peter Alviti is a 1960s transportation director who is out of touch with what a 21st century Rhode Island wants and needs. In his term as director of RIDOT, Mr. Alviti has been in clear miscompliance of the Act on Climate, which is, again, legally binding state law and will result in serious consequences for the state if not met. I know that many of you are passionate about climate change and public health, and you were elected to your office because your constituents also care, but we will not achieve a 21st century transportation system for Rhode Island, and we will not meet our Act on Climate goals if Peter Alviti is reconfirmed as director of RIDOT. His history shows this, and we have little reason to believe that he will change. The Rhode Island of 2030 is the state that my generation will grow up to live, work, vote, and govern. We need a Rhode Island that is safe, sustainable, and equal. In 7 years, perhaps we will look at the legislators who sit in this room today, and we'll remember you as advocates of the unsustainable, broken status quo, whose problems that now we must fix. And this is what a lot of my generation believes today. However, perhaps today you will begin to act differently, and perhaps you will speak up and fight for what is right for the health, environment, and sustainability of Rhode Island. And we will recognize you as pioneers in the fight of climate change and stepping up as representation of what Rhode Island actually needs. Who do you want to be? We await your answer here tonight. Thank you very much.
Cedric, thank you very much for being here tonight.